This
Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to Friday afternoon. My name is Katie Jones. I am a four-time IATN card holder, a double gold consultant. I've been with Archer and Evolution Travel now for a little over 3.5 years. I'm a $1 million booker. Absolutely love booking travel, but I also love hosting live in-person events. Um, there are lots of different ways to approach sourcing clients and putting the word out there that you're a travel agent. Obviously, social media can't be pushed to the side necessarily. It's a very powerful tool. That is not where my success came from. My success came from live in-person events, and that's kind of the purpose of today's training is kind of going over how you might host live in-person events and the variety within hosting those, right? So let me get my screen shared and we will get rolling here. And let's do this. And here we go. All right. So, welcome in live in person events and marketing. There is so many ways that you can host live in person events. Some of them are big, bold, beautiful, and expensive, and others are small and maybe cost no money whatsoever. Okay. So, we're going to talk about a lot of those options today. Everything from craft fairs, farmers markets, home shows, wine tastings, art festivals, bridal expos, hosting an at-home party. Kind of think back to the days of like Pampered Chef. Could you host a cruise theme party at home or at a school event or at a park nearby or at the library, right? Think outside the box a little bit here. School events, sporting events, fundraising events, holiday fairs, church events, sponsor a golf hole tournament, doctor's offices. The list could go on and on and on. Okay. So we're going to start with planting a seed and going small. This is one of the first craft fairs I did. I started with craft fairs. I did about 10 or 15 craft fairs. And I started super small. I'm also, if you get to know me, I love a great bargain. I don't want to put a lot of money out to be earning money. So I either borrowed a lot of this or I'll tell you exactly. I think I spent maybe $23 on this entire booth. I already had the tablecloth. I already had this cute little Merry Christmas container. I already had the snowman. I had the cribbage board. I had that little season's greeting sign. I had some of these ornaments. What I did not have are these give the gift of travel. Let me just tell you, those were $1 at the Dollar Tree wooden ornaments. I picked up a selection of gift wrap tissue paper, which is the green and the red. I picked up a can of spray adhesive and I wrote with a Sharpie, give the gift of travel after I spray adhesived the tissue paper onto those ornaments. Okay. There's not a lot of money in here. Now, where did I spend the money? I spent the money on these, which are like the photo cards you see a lot of families do at Christmas time. They were gift certificates in different denominations. And on this poster I had, all of those I printed at Walmart on 1 hour photo. So jot down your email and your name for a chance to win a $100 gift card. It was a certificate towards a travel package. I put terms and conditions on the back of that, non-refundable, all the things, right? And so I had people fill out a little gift card. So let's guess what time of year this was, right? A little gift card, drop in my little bucket over here, and I drew a winner, right? So they used that. I was going to take that out of my commission, correct? So a travel package, it had a worth of $3,000 on that travel package, and I would have taken $100 off of it. Right? If they'd booked a travel package with me, I would have taken $100 off at the final payment. So I was really out no money with that gift card and that and this offering. And then they could buy gift cards if they wanted to give to people, right? So, yes, I talked all about travel with folks that would stop at the booth, but you want to have, regardless if your live in person event is big or small, you want to have a call to action. The call to action here is jot down your email and your name, right? Be ready with something that draws them into your booth. I'm going to tell you, I started with, as people were walking by my booth, hey, do you like to travel? And I came back with some nubs of limbs. No, I had a pretty grumpy group at this particular craft fair. I had to figure out, I had to change my line a couple of different times, right? Have a couple of, draw them over to your booth, common hellos, greetings that you can um, start up a conversation with. I ended up using legitimately, oh, I really love your hair, or I love that shirt, or how fun is that, right? A compliment. Oh, I bet you play pickleball, because they were carrying a pickleball racket. I ended up going that route, and that works significantly better than do you like to travel, right? But get comfortable engaging with folks from the get-go and get out from behind that table. You're not approachable if you're sitting back here at this table. I ended up pushing that table back, and I was standing in front talking with people out in front of the table. It makes you much more approachable. Okay. Super small. This table cost me $5. I spent that was the entry fee to that craft fair, $5. Right. And again, I did about 15 of these types of shows. Um, and it worked great for starting to establish kind of how you want to engage, what you want on your booth, all the things. Okay. So here's another example of a pretty simple setup. Again, I spent $5 on this table at a craft fair. Very simple. But now you'll see that I've started ordering collateral. And by the end of this training today, I'll show you how to order collateral. The cruise lines are fantastic at sending us collateral. Collateral are these fancy books that talk about all the different cruise opportunities with all the different cruise companies. And they are great about, you can go into the cruise portals, order the collateral, and they ship it to you, and it is all 100% free. Ordering it and having it shipped to you is totally free. Okay. So I'll walk you through how to do that here in a minute. But again, a super simple table, stuff I had or borrowed. And no, I wasn't just talking all about cruises, but the cruise companies are really the best vendors we have for that actually ship you a piece of collateral. Okay. I'm going to blow this up a little bit here. This right here is a Dollar Tree. It came two in a pack, very sparkly gift bag. And again, I went to Walmart and I printed off, I created this in Canva. And I'm going to walk you through getting access to Marnie Hernandez voucher program. I'm going to walk you through that here in a minute, but Marnie has some vouchers that we have access to if you go through her program. This particular one was a 5-day, 4-night luxury cruise. It's not free. The client or the person that would have won this does pay an activation fee. There's a whole thing. You get all the details when you go through Marnie's voucher training. But then you have access to that. So I was using this as my call to action. If you'd like to enter for an opportunity at a possibility to be winning this, right? 5 days, 4 nights on this luxury cruise, drop your name and number in the bag and let's have that opportunity, right? So there's lots of different ways to get people interested to your table. So I did a voucher drawing. I want you to start by asking your platinum if they have access to vouchers. So if your platinum agent has vouchers, you're going to use them direct from them. And if not, I will get you to Marnie's how to get to her platform here towards the end. But it works great for collecting data, right? Names, phone numbers, email to reach back out and follow up with later. Super simple. Doing live in-person events does not have to cost you an arm and a leg. Breweries and wineries, they are great locations to go and put a flyer. Now, full disclosure, this was not the best location, but it happened to be where their cork board, where you could put up flyers, lived, right? Hopefully when they were picking up their cornhole boards, they noticed this little flyer right here, right? This was a celebration of beer. It's a river cruise opportunity that does a celebration of beer themed cruise. There's 3 dates in 2026, February 19th, August 4th, and November 4th. my QR code on here that would have taken them to a form that I would have gotten their name, phone number, email to connect with, right? I went and talked with the folks at the bar, said, "Hey, could I put up a flyer?" Absolutely. "Oh, what are you doing?" "Oh, but oh, wow, blah blah blah," right? I spent an afternoon and I put up probably 10 or 15 flyers. Chat with the staff, ask about placing a flyer and put them up, and who knows what the outcome will be, right? I printed these off at Staples. Again, I created that in Canva. Super simple, no real money. Driving around, the gas I spent is a tax write off because I was marketing, right? Super simple, no money other than the print. You can get a little bit more creative. This was a winery, and I put together this rather large, it was like on a foam board print option here with an itinerary for cruising Bordeaux, wine cruise, QR code again. I was set up with some brochures from AMA Waterways. That's my laptop right here. They were having an event at the winery during the fall. I went and sat up. I'd already talked to the winemaker and the owner of the vineyard, right? Went and sat up, had lots of people come and chat with me about that wine cruise, right? The next one I did at the same winery was talking about our wine cruise in March of 2026, which I leave for Monday. I have 9 cabins booked on this, and we had, I think 10 cabins, 10 or 11 cabins on this Taste of Bordeaux last year. I have 9 cabins booked on this cruise that Lisa and I are going on as well. We leave Monday, right? So this cost me nothing except the print, right? AMA Waterways sent me brochures and some luggage tags and some things over here, and I did the printing costs for the 2 pamphlets. This poster lived in the tasting room, and as he had people come in and who were interested, they would just scan the QR code, which came directly to me on a form that I was collecting names, phone numbers, etc. on, and that's how the booking happened. It worked out great. Very little money involved in this as well. Live in-person events do not have to cost you a ton of money. All right. So you can absolutely go bigger. So if you're going to consider going bigger, my recommendation is to ask, are there going to be other travel agents? So for me, I did about 10 or 15 craft fairs, and driving home from a craft fair, I saw a billboard for a bridal expo that was in town. And that got my attention, and I thought, So I called to get the information on that. There was going to be 2 other travel agents, which almost stopped me from going. But in the end, it all worked out, and I went. That bridal expo was about $675. It was a lot of money. I was a new agent. Had been an agent for about 4 months. Did I know if it was going to work? No. So stay tuned. We'll see what happens. But I asked if there were other travel agents. There was going to be 2 others. At this stage of the game, knowing what I know now, I don't necessarily mind if there's other travel agents. If there were going to be 10 other agents, I probably don't know if I would consider that show, but with 2 or 3 others, they might be there, but you may steal the show. I've had very successful shows with other agents at those shows with couples and folks coming by saying, "You're so much more personable," when I was out from behind my table. And connected with me more than they connected with someone else. So that doesn't scare me off, but it's something I would want to know. How many do they expect in attendance, right? I've done 3 bridal expos, and all of them were expected to have over 1,000 in attendance, right? If you're going to pay a lot of money, I want to know there's going to be a lot of people there. The next statement here is there a hook to keep them at the show until the end? So the first bridal expo I did, the hook to keep them at the show at the end was twofold. They had some giveaways at the end, and um, they were hosting a fashion show at the end. And I want to just peek and make sure. I don't think I have anybody in the waiting room. I'm just going to check the waiting room and make sure I don't have anybody in there. I don't think I do. I do not. Okay. Um, they They had a fashion show and giveaways at the end. One of the things at the giveaways that they offered, what they called the VIP clients, was that if clients, while they were walking around the show, chose to put a deposit down with one of the vendors, that they were entered in a special drawing where they could have won a $5,000 cash award to use during their wedding or their honeymoon. They just had to put a deposit down with one of the vendors. Okay. So I'll talk more about that in a minute. Do the attendees have to pay to come? If they had to pay to come, I wouldn't be doing the show, right? You want your attendees to have free entrance to come to the show. You're going to have a better turnout with that. Can you at your booth have a drawing? I wanted to be able to have a drawing at my booth. And can you donate a gift? Because oftentimes, if you donate a gift, you're going to be in the marketing materials. They're going to make announcements about make sure to stop by and see Joe's travel table, right? There's going to be some more things that push you out and get you seen a little bit more. So maybe you think about using a voucher. Maybe it's a complimentary planning session. Whatever you've got, you could maybe put a gift basket together. There's lots of different ways to come up with a gift to donate. And then this VIP opportunity for couples. So again, this first Bridal Expo show I did have a VIP opportunity, and that was for them if they were going to put down a deposit with a vendor. I knew that going in. I signed up to be a VIP vendor, which meant I was offering something special for the couples that did sign up to do a deposit with me. So my something special was they went into they got a voucher for a mini moon, right? A 3-day, 2-night, and I'll show you that voucher here in a minute, a 3-day, 2-night voucher. But their deposit, which I set my parameters. If they put down $100 deposit for me to either plan their honeymoon or plan their destination wedding. So how would I have taken that deposit? I took that deposit on my Square account. And I had both the little Square that plugs into the phone, and I had where you could enter it manually through the Square account or tap it. I will tell you that a lot of the times in the big convention halls where these types of events happen, the internet is not very good. So I would make sure you're set up to use your Square account on your phone where you can manually enter the credit card. So I went into that first Bridal Expo, and I was really hoping that I could get 4 deposits, 4 $100 deposits. That would have brought in $400 towards honeymoons that I was going to book, and obviously then earn the commission off. Now, was I charging the clients $100 that went nowhere other than my services? No. I had a contract, a little thing written up that said that $100 deposit would be paid at their final payment after they booked their honeymoon, right? So I was going to apply that payment as their final payment to booking that honeymoon for them. It was non-refundable. I walked out of that first Bridal Expo with 8 $100 deposits. Okay. I walked out with 8 $100 deposits. It was incredibly successful. I was nonstop talking, nonstop talking that day, incredibly busy, got lots of great information. It was an incredible success. I think I ended up booking, if it was 15 or 20 honeymoons, it was incredibly successful, right? So this is what my first booth, that very first Bridal Expo, looked like. Obviously there's tons of different ways to do a booth. This is what I utilized. I borrowed a lot of this as well. I did order the backdrop here. I ordered the little photo booth, hold ups, and exactly. I had a helper. That was key. I had a friend of mine that helped me. You can kind of see it down here in this box. This is a veil I made from the Dollar Tree. It said bride across the top. It had a bottle of champagne sticking out the top. And she had that in her hands, and she was offering that to the brides as they walked by with either their fiance or their, bridesmaids or what have you, invited them in. They were all using the little Photoshop, the flamingo glasses or what have you. They were having a seat, they were standing behind, and she was using their phone to take a picture of them on this, tropical getaway honeymoon location. And you'll notice up here on this umbrella is a picture of the beach. It says Unplugged Travel, which is the name of my business, with my QR code. That QR code took them to my website. So they had a permanent souvenir from their stop at my booth on their phone if they didn't pick up a piece of collateral with my card attached, right? So just an idea. Um, Again, I ordered collateral. All of this was free from the vendors on this table. And then I did some printing. Okay. The all-inclusives are going to give you digital marketing material that they want you to print off yourself. I didn't bother using that. I just created a couple of mock bookings for multiple different reasons, right? I created this mock booking on a whole honeymoon package, 7 nights, 5-star, all inclusive hotel resort, flights from the town I was in, and I think that price was like $51.98 or something, right? So some great pictures. I created that in Canva right here. All of this was in Canva. We all know that a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? So absolutely. I created the mock booking, this honeymoon, for multiple reasons though. One, it gave me some great visuals. Two, it gave me some really accurate pricing for what a honeymoon from that particular location might run if they wanted to go to the Caribbean, right? So I could very legitimately say, oh yeah, if you've got a 4K or a 5K or a 6K budget, yep, we can make that happen, right? Because I had looked at multiple different levels of resorts, et cetera, and had that kind of knowledge in my head to be able to freely talk about during the conversations with these couples. I did this one in Canvas, Say I Do with a View, right? Destination weddings. I can't tell you how many people said, oh, destination weddings, you could do destination weddings too. Yes, I can. Right now, this was not very fancy. These are foam boards that I used. I spray adhesived my printouts from Walmart dollar, or hour photo to them. And then you'll see on here, right? It says Cash for Contracts. That was the name of the incentive that the Bridal Expo was doing. That Cash for Contracts. They did $100 deposit, and then they were entered into that $5,000 giveaway from the expo, not me, but from the expo at the end. So that was the hook. This is why a hook at the end is important, because I was so busy talking to people all day long. My helper was saying, hey, circle back. Are you going to stay for the raffle later and the fashion show? Oh, you are? Great. Circle back round. I know she'd love to talk with you about your honeymoon, blah, blah, blah. Because folks were kind of a captive audience and they were going to stay in the building because they wanted to stay for the fashion show and that giveaway, they kept circling back. The other two expos I did not do that. And if I wasn't talking to couples, they were walking out the door and I missed my opportunity. I really like the idea of a hook keeping the couples, particularly for a bridal expo, till the end, right? This one in the back, all aboard, Say I Do. You can definitely do a destination wedding on a ship, on a cruise. The couple can get married on the ship. They can get married on the beach. This happens to be my nephew and his bride on a Carnival ship that they were married on. And so, yes, that's an option as well. But all of this collateral that people wanted to pick up and carry around with them all came to me free. Okay, it all came free. And you'll see I've got a couple more vouchers here, right? Here's that 5-day, 4-night luxury cruise, same one as the others, right? And here's my little mini moon getaway for 3 days, 2 nights over here. But it's all recycled, right? Once you have it for one, you can do it for the next one. So here is a better picture of that mock booking, right? 7-night, 5-star, all-inclusive resort, 200 in resort coupons. It's just a mock booking. Okay. Yes, I picked some really great pictures that kind of scream honeymoon, and I created that in Canva. Printed it off as an 18 by 20 poster from Walmart, and there you go. Right? Gives you a lot of great information, and it's a great visual for the client. Here's the other one about the Saying I Do on the ship, right? So a little bit closer up. So vouchers or gift baskets are a great idea. Do you have to? No, but it's a great idea. It's a great hook to get them into your booth. All right. So this is booth number 2. And now I got a little fancier, a little fancier, but not a whole lot more expensive for me as far as putouts, right? This scalloped edge board right here is comes in a 4-pack at Walmart. Those are cake boards, they're cardboard, but they're a little fancier. Um, and again, I just spray adhesived those prints right onto them. I did get this frame from a thrift store. It was brown. I grabbed a can of gray or so gold sparkly spray paint. There's no glass in this, but I did another poster with Secret Sandals, Disney, and Xcaret, which is a high-end resort in Mexico. Booked today with a registered master agent, and just printed that off at the dollar, at Walmart, 1 hour photo, and there you go. How many comments did I get about, oh, we've wanted to go to Secrets? Yes. Images are worth 1,000 words, right? You don't have to do a lot of talking. It's going to hook people into your booth. So how many tips are you seeing? Think call to action, branding hooks, right? How many hooks are you seeing in my booth right here? Let me know in the chat. Let me scoot over here. Let me know in the chat. I thought I had the chat open. I do have the chat open. I can't see it though. Whoopsie, come back. Let's see. How many hooks are you seeing? Oh, thank you. Sweet. That'll be handy. 5 to 6. All right, let me get this back to you. 10, right? So many. Yes. So ask about 3-day 2 resort free stay. Who wants a romantic beach honeymoon? Here is the voucher, right? Let me bring that down. Say I do with View. Here's my QR code. There's a lot of hooks and call to actions here, right? And that's what you want. You want those call to actions so people cut into your booth, okay? You don't have to do all the talking to hook them into your booth to get them talking to you. Just a different angle. Okay, plan for setup time. Usually they give you about 2 or 3 hours. It's going to take you every minute of that because every setup is a little bit different. And once you get set up, you want time to take photos, you want time to take some videos and get them posted to your socials, right? So supplies came from the Dollar Tree, Walmart, the vendor collateral, Amazon, and I borrow. Obviously, these are a new umbrella and new chairs. I borrowed, right? You don't have to put out a ton of money to do a show. All right. Let me just tell you, the cruise lines will send you tons of collateral, tons of collateral. I went through almost all of this. I went through so much and so much came that I was running out of business cards. So I ordered a rubber stamp from Amazon with my name and my contact and my email. And I went to rubber stamping these booklets with that stamp for the contact info, right? Because I was running out of business cards, but I gave out almost all of this collateral. Yeah, lots and lots and lots of collateral. How do you order collateral? So here we go. All right. I logged into Cruising Power. Cruising Power is Royal Caribbean and Celebrity, right? So the first thing is to get to Royal Caribbean, and on the left-hand side, there's a menu that says planning, booking, sales, and marketing. Guess what step 1 is? Sales and marketing. I clicked into the sales and marketing. That's step 1. Step 2, that drop down in sales and marketing is right here. Okay. And so I went to order sales collateral. Order sales collateral. Open it up. Hello. Here's all your pamphlets. Here's all your booklets. Here's all your thing. 30 per order, a 40 per order. You order what you want, they're going to send it to your house for free. Every single cruise line will do this for you. Disney will as well. They are the vendors that will send the most, hand something in your hand collateral. Okay. So order it. I had a helper here too. This is my sister Lisa. Here is a better picture of that. I went to the Dollar Tree and made this, right? Bride, it said it's a headband. So the brides wore it on their head, little veil, little dollar roll, a dollar tool, and sent that, the brides took it. That's what we were taking the picture with. It was a hit. I probably could have sold 200 of them things if I had 200 of them made. I didn't. They love them, right? Couple of tips. Bring a helper. Super helpful to have a helper with you. Have snacks, but think protein shake. I talked all 3 bridal expos I did, big events like this, even the craft fairs. You're talking all the time. You don't have time to stop and chew, but you're going to get hungry and you need to keep high energy. So think of protein shake. Bring a little mini toolbox with you. Safety pins, duct tape, fishing line, zip ties, key essential tools to have with you at an expo. Safety pins, fishing line, zip ties, duct tape, all of it, right? I did end up buying a little wagon, right? One of the canvas wagons. And I also used my carry-on luggage piece to bring in that collateral. That collateral is heavy. So I used my carry-on luggage to get that collateral in, but the rest of it, we loaded up the wagon and made a couple of trips in to bring everything in. And again, I borrowed a lot of accessories, okay? All right, let's think not big expo. Let's backtrack a minute and think smaller, okay? And I'm going to give credit where credit is due. This is not my brainchild. This is Gigi Ivy's. If you know Gigi and if you've heard her name, if you've done in any of the Evo Plus trainings with her on a couple of the different Tuesday nights that she hosts Evo training, this was her brainchild. Okay. And if you know much about Gigi, I think she starts every Evo training with, she's made 55, and she's probably over 55 now, $1,000 utilizing Evo Plus. How has she done that? She'll tell you this is one of the ways she did it. These little acrylic things right here. This is one of the ways she made $20,000 on one Evo Plus sale. One, ask her about it. And this little acrylic thing is how she did it right here. Okay. You can order them off Amazon, what have you. They're business card holders. Okay. She did not take these to a storefront with a ton of business cards in them. She had one business card that she sprayed adhesived on here, right? Something to the attune of this. I did this one as wedding and honeymoon travel planning, brides and grooms, right? With a QR code is what she had on there. She spray adhesived one card to this acrylic thing. She brought them to boutiques, to bridal shops. She spoke to the owners. She spoke to the managers. She asked if she could leave them on their counters, right? She put in one adhesive to this acrylic piece so she would not have to go back and refill them. That way she's on permanent display. That was genius, right? If you leave 50 cards, one, that's money out your pocket to refill those cards. Two, you have to go back to the store. And three, if they run out of cards in day one and you don't know it right away, you're not being advertised. She spray adhesived one card to the holder, had a great relationship, went in and spoke to the managers, the owners, etc., and left them. She went to some high-end boutique stores. She got some high-end clients, right? That's one of the ways that she's made a ton of money using Evo Plus. Okay. So could you do this? And could you put these at bridal dress shops or boutique shops or jewelry shops, or look in your community and find avenues? Here's the opposite of bougie boutique shops. I know I have a dog lover in the room. Libby, if you were going to go on vacation, how are you doing that with animals? When people board their animals, why are they boarding their animals? They're going on vacation. Go to animal boarding places. Ask them if you can put up a flyer. Let's plan your next vacation. People board their animals when they're traveling. You could do this exact same thing at a boarding kennel. Okay. There are so many ways to utilize getting your name out here. Here's a couple more flyers I did and I put out and about. Here's that celebration of beer, river cruise, Christmas market cruises. Obviously, I love river cruising, and that's a niche for mine. So that's something I push. I've created all of these in Canva. It's relatively simple. You have some printing costs, and then you're out and about, right? Getting these out for display. Market your specialty. If you're a specialist with sandals or Disney or Caribbean, market it, right? You can become a Caribbean specialist. You can become a Caribbean specialist or a destination wedding specialist. You can go to travelagentuniversity.com, travelagentuniversity.com, and there are certifications for just about everything under the sun there. If you want to be a Caribbean specialist, do it. If you want to be a destination wedding specialist, do it. Showcase those mock bookings like I did with the honeymoon. If you have an affinity for destination weddings and honeymoons, do them. Can you spot the call to action here, right? It's kind of a repeat. Ask about these 3-day, 2-night free stays. Do you know how many people I had ask me that? Hey, I see about that. Ask about that 3-day, 2-night. It's a conversation starter. I didn't have to engage and be in somebody's face about talking to me. That's a conversation starter. Okay. Let's see. We got a couple more here. Start to finish. Research events in your area. What's going on in your area? It's spring. There's going to be home events and spring into, home shows and that kind of thing happening, right? There's going to be end of school events. There's going to be kickoff summer events. There's going to be all kinds of events. I guarantee you there's bridal expos probably every month of the year. Honestly, they happen almost year round. Start gathering supplies. Maybe you're a thrifter like I am. Find a beautiful frame, whether you have to touch it up or not, but find a beautiful frame for $5 at the thrift store, right? If you're thinking you're wanting to do something like this, you can reuse the same thing over and over and over. You got to have high energy the day of. Typically with the bridal expos, I always ended up with what they call a prospect list. It's provided as part of your show entry. It's provided. Usually it's provided a couple of days after the show, and then you want to follow up ASAP, right? You'll get everybody's emails. You can do a batch email to your participants and get those out as soon as possible, right? Pinterest and Google are great resources for your table ideas. And set some goals the day of your show, right? You want to set some goals. You want to set the number of cards you're going to pass out. You want to set a number business cards, right, at a show. You want to set a number of contact sheets you want returned. You want to set a number of deposits received. Maybe you want to set a number of flyers that you go out and about and deliver. Set a number of stores you want to visit. Set a goal for yourself. It's easy to start something without a goal. And if you're going to go out and try and put flyers and the first 2 places you go say, oh, no, thank you, and give up. But if you had set a goal of I'm going to get 5 flyers out, you're much more likely to get your 5 flyers up than to get 2 no's and turn around and go home. Okay. Don't turn around and go home. Set some goals. This one says questions, but I do want to, I'm going to skip that for just a second. Marnie's group for vouchers. If your platinum doesn't have vouchers, Marnie Hernandez has a Facebook group. Her Facebook group, this is the banner on her Facebook group. And once you're in her Facebook group, it will walk you through how you can obtain the vouchers for your own personal use, just like I did at these vendor shares. Okay. All right. So we have arrived at questions. I am going to stop our recording. Oops, we do have Scott, and come back to me. There we go. Okay. Didn't say stopped recording. I'm hoping that's stopping. It didn't say stop. There we go. Stop. Yes.